All in Sports Network. We love sports.
The trade deadline has come and gone, and the Kansas City Chiefs ended up with nothing. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I'm Jace Andrews here on this trade deadline special. We talk about what the Chiefs almost did, moves across the league that are going to affect the Chiefs, and whether or not I believe this is a Super Bowl team anymore. And I talked yesterday on the show about how they needed to make a move, and today Brett Veach and the entire Chiefs front office made it very clear they trust in this team, whether that trust is valid or not. We talk about it here today on the show. I'm Jace Andrews. We're happy you choose to join us here on your daily listen of the Chiefs Report on the Rogue Sports Media Network. Lots to get into today, lots to talk about. Obviously, the NFL trade deadline was a very busy one this year. I mean, if we look at the trades that happened, I believe this was the second most trades ever on an NFL trade deadline. Looks like we have it here. Adam Schefter, there was 8 trades today. That's tied for the second most on any deadline day going back to 1990. 2022 was the one where there was the most trades on deadline day, as there were 10 trades on that November 1st, 2022 deadline. There were 18 total trades, though, from October 1st to the trade deadline this season, which is tied with 2022 and 2024 for the most trades in that time. And how many trades did the Chiefs make? Zero. I don't know if Brett Veach is watching a different team. I don't know if Brett Veach believes that just like every year, the Chiefs will just turn it on in the postseason, which is very real possibility. I don't want to sit here and dog on the Chiefs and say that there's no way they're going to win. There's no way they're going to do this. There's no way they're going to do that. I'm not here to put that out there, because ultimately they're the Chiefs. You have Patrick Mahomes. You have Travis Kelce. You have Andy Reid, Coach Spags, Matt Nagy. You're going to be in a good spot if you can make the playoffs. But I say if you can make the playoffs, because the upcoming schedule and your record here at 5-4, it's just, I don't really know. I really don't know what to say to this point. You've got your bye week here. Josh Simmons is back, which is great. He'll have a week to kind of recuperate back with the team and get him back out there on the field. But for how close you were to Breece Hall, which we'll talk about in today's show, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to a point where I don't know how much I want to believe in this team, because in past years, whether it was small trades or something, again, you just felt different about the Chiefs. You felt different about how they were looking at this season. I can't say that I feel the same way as I did the past couple of years. I can't say that we're sitting here heading to a bye in week 10 that I believe this team is a Super Bowl contending team, much less maybe in the AFC contention when other teams got better. And whether it was a bad deal for them or whatever, it's a real tough pill to swallow for, well, a couple different reasons. But the biggest story this entire trade deadline was Breece Hall. That was the guy the Chiefs were going to go out and get, because we know the struggles the Chiefs have had with Isaiah Pacheco. We know the struggles they've had with the running back room in general, Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith. And the expectation, at least the feel around the organization, was that if the Chiefs were going to make a move, there was going to be one of two things. It was going to be in the defensive line unit, because of obviously the injury to Omar Norman-Lott and just the defensive line not looking good this season for one reason or the other, and the running back room. Those were your two quote-unquote weakness points. And there's been some substantial reasons you've lost previous games. I mean, you really should have won the Jags game early on in the season. You just didn't look like yourself. The Eagles are a good team. The Chargers are a good team, and you lost Xavier Worley in the first quarter or first whatever play of that game, basically what it felt like. It's tough, though, because you've beaten the teams that you expect to beat, and you've lost the teams that are playoff caliber teams. And so for the Chiefs, who have an upcoming schedule in which they will play the Denver Broncos after their bye in Mile High, they'll play the Indianapolis Colts, who today got Sauce Gardner, which he's an overrated corner in my opinion, but still very good. And then you go and you play the Cowboys, who, whether they're going to be a playoff team or not, they did make themselves better today on the defensive side, getting Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams on their defensive interior line. which Quentin Williams feels available. I mean, I know it costs the Cowboys a lot, but that would have been good to have for the Chiefs. I really am lost for words in some ways when it comes to this trade deadline, to I don't know what I expected to happen, what I thought would happen, what my expectations were for Brett Veach, and for how much there was talk going on about getting Breece Hall, for talking about that, and then nothing ends up happening. And now we're getting reports that the Chiefs were right there. They were going to get Breece Hall. That was what they had gotten. Here's a report that the Chiefs had offered a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall. The Jets were firm on holding that they wanted a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. The Chiefs would not budge, neither would the Jets. And now Breece Hall is going to be staying a Jet, which is kind of an awkward situation for them, considering earlier today we got reports that Breece Hall, after the Quentin Williams trade, after the Sauce Gardner trade, that Breece wanted out. So my thought process was that the Jets are going full reset, and Breece Hall sees that and now wanted to get a trade out, wanted to be out of there. I mean, he's going to be coming up on a free agent season anyway, but it just sucks when you have a player who wants out of his organization, a team in the Chiefs who want this player and want that aspect to improve on their team in the running game. Both of these sides are in very close trade talks. You're 1 round away, and it doesn't happen. And I understand the Jets standing firm on a 3rd-round pick, because a day 2 pick versus a day 3 pick is a very big difference. I would argue the biggest difference in the NFL is round 1 to round 2, but the second biggest difference is not round 2 or round 3. It's round 3 to round 4 in the NFL. And so you kind of question a couple different things for Brett Veach and the Chiefs, and what their expectations are for the season / what their expectations are moving forward, because Breece Hall would have changed this team. He had double the yardage this season and 1 more touchdown than Isaiah Pacheco has had. Your running game looked abysmal in the past couple of games. Without Isaiah Pacheco this week, you had 70 combined yards and 5 different people running the ball, including Mahomes, Worthy, and Rashee Rice. Not just Brashard Smith, not just Kareem Hunt. We didn't even give Brashard Smith the time that I thought we should. I mean, yes, he had 3 carries. Yes, they weren't great carries, but give him more reps. Because at the end of the day, I can talk about these great running backs, and do they have a huge impact on the team? Yes. Or are they a big reason for the success or lack of success in the running game? Yes. But does it mean that a lackluster, let's not say lackluster, mediocre / maybe a little bit above average running back can succeed in an offensive line that, in my opinion, is as good as the Chiefs? No. I think the offensive line matters a lot more than what the running back can bring in a lot of aspects. But you have to have a mediocre / above average running back. And I can't say I've seen that on the Chiefs this year. I've seen little blurbs of it. I mean, I've seen Isaiah Pacheco look like that. I've seen Brashard Smith look like that. I've seen Kareem Hunt look like that. But there hasn't been that consistency. There hasn't been that, oh yeah, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the one to break away in the playoffs. He's going to be the one where we get into a tough matchup. We need to run the rock because they're like we saw in the Bills game, their coverage is great. I don't see that. And so from here on out, there is no trades. There's signings. You could go out and get a running back. I don't really know who's available. I think Gus Edwards might be available. He might be a free agent. I don't really know. Zach Moss is available, I guess, but I kind of stated this in previous shows. The running back depth is not the problem. They have enough running back depth, and like Jerome Ford would have been good because I think he's better than what we've seen from Isaiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt or Brashard Smith this season. But anybody below that, like a running back, the Jalen Wright running back from Miami, I don't know if he would have helped, specifically because he just is the same caliber of running back that we've seen in the previous couple of games for the Chiefs. Like, I don't think he would do anything more. He also hasn't run the ball at all this year because he got just overtaken by the running back room in Miami. There was talk of Bradley Chubb going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, a Miami guy, a defensive lineman, somebody you would love to see, very good at getting off the ball, and it fell flat. And I don't know what the latest reports are, but he was being mentioned heavily with the Kansas City Chiefs. Sounds like Brett Veach was calling about him as well. So I don't want to sit here and say this was a failure of a trade deadline, because you can't really know if those guys would have succeeded, / you can't really know what's going to happen in the upcoming games and whether or not that's going to work. But what you can know and what you can see is that, okay, the Chiefs did not improve. They didn't get worse, but they did not improve. And they have a really tough schedule coming up, and they have struggled against upper tier opponents. And the Bills, I know you lost by 7, so you played well, and there's a couple different plays maybe you could have switched and you would have thought better about that game. But again, my opinion on that loss to the Bills is that you lost that game and there's really nothing you could have done about it. You couldn't have changed that loss with this one play or this one play here. Like, that's the ultimate caveat to all that. So it's something to know that the Chiefs are really going to have to impress a bunch of people against the Denver Broncos, because all this dialogue about the Chiefs, all this saying the dynasty's over, this or that, or that the Chiefs, they're not going to be able to make the AFC Championship this year. That's just not going to happen. The Chiefs, they're not going to be able to make the Super Bowl this year. That's not going to happen. That all goes away immediately if you beat the Denver Broncos in Mile High Stadium in 2 weeks. That goes away because you prove to the NFL that you can still win that. You can still win this division. You can still be atop it, but you have to win that game, because if you lose that game, all of a sudden you're 500. You're 500 going up against one of the top teams in the AFC the next week in the Indianapolis Colts, who made a move today to get one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL, which was a weakness of them. They have an MVP level running back in Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones is playing great. Their receiving room of, I know it's not A.D. Mitchell anymore because he got traded, but you've got guys like Josh Downs. You've got guys like, what's that other? There's the other receiver. I forget his name at the moment, but it's something that I question if the Chiefs will be able to compete with the other teams in the AFC, given you didn't make a move, given you sat on your butt. And sat on your butt's not the right word. You tried to make the moves and they didn't go. And it sucks. It really does. I'm going to talk about what I believe is the next step for the Chiefs. What is the rest of the season going to look like, and kind of breaking down what now after the trade deadline. We've talked about guys who've almost traded, Bradley Chubb and Breece Hall, but didn't happen. Now I want to break down what's coming up for them. How does this look for the Chiefs? And are they a playoff caliber team? I mean, legitimately, are they a playoff caliber team? Are they a team that I can see going to the AFC Championship? We talk about it when we come back here on the Chiefs Report.
Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
I need to get real excited.
Sure.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Sheridan Vasquez. And this is Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions. And I will be interviewing some of your favorite musicians and maybe some you've never heard before. Join me on Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions for something new every time. You can find Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemediamusic.com. Yeehaw. And keep the music playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, Blogify.ai today. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at esimx.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com.
Welcome back here to the Chiefs Report. I'm Jace Andrews here on the Rogue Sports Media Network. We're talking about the trade deadline. We're talking about how Brett Veach did really nothing to improve this Kansas City Chiefs team. And the question is now, as you sit 5-4, ranking 8th in the AFC, just outside of that playoff picture, do we believe, first of all, is this a team that can make the playoffs? Second of all, is this a team with a schedule at hand that can make the playoffs? And I think third of all, is this a team that can turn it on if they make the playoffs? Is this a team that we've seen time and time again, they get to the playoffs and it's a different guy. It's a different guy out there than Patrick Mahomes. He becomes this otherworldly character that you just can't understand how he makes these plays. And in Buffalo, we kind of saw that. He was 28-21 and plays where he would extend and not find somebody. Those plays in the playoffs, he would find somebody downfield and chuck it down there, or Travis Kelce or Worthy or Rashee Rice. They'd find a way open. That was not the case. And so you sit here at 5-4 and you look at what is coming for the Chiefs, what is looking on the outside, and it's a tough schedule. It really is a tough schedule. And so that's kind of where I want to talk to you right now. Upcoming here for the Chiefs, they have a bye week in week 10. You face off against Denver, Indianapolis, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, the Chargers, Tennessee, Denver, and Las Vegas. 9 more games left. And of those games, you are facing, as of right now, playoff caliber teams in 4 of them, at least. I mean, Houston's not a playoff team in my mind. Dallas is not a playoff team in my mind. So let's be generous. Let's be generous to the Kansas City Chiefs and say they win one of the Denver games. Won't say one. They win against Dallas. They win against Houston. They win against Tennessee, and they win against Las Vegas. Meaning in their final 9 games, they would effectively go, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go 5-4. So they do the exact same thing in their last 9 games as they do there in the back 9 games, meaning they'll lose to Denver once, they'll lose to Indianapolis. I guess in that case, you lose Los Angeles, so 3. So let's say they go 6-3. Let's be generous. Say they beat Los Angeles, say they beat Tennessee, Denver once, Los Angeles. You go 6-3. You finish off the year. At that point in time, you're saying 12 and 12-6. 12-6 is your record. that definitely makes the playoffs. And as of right now in the playoff picture, the Chiefs have a 75% chance to make the playoffs. This is above Pittsburgh, who is ranked maybe. This is above Jacksonville. This is above Baltimore. And Jacksonville is above you right now. Pittsburgh is above you right now because you have Patrick Mahomes. Because you are the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. You have a higher percentage to make the playoffs than what other teams are ahead of you have. The hardest thing about this, and the biggest thing to me that scares me, is that right now you are outside of the playoff picture. The Colts are looking very good, and they just made a good trade. The Patriots have looked good. They're 7-2, though. I don't see them dropping out of the playoff picture. Same thing with the Broncos. They've looked good. I think they're probably, in my mind, the top two teams in the AFC are the Colts, the Broncos. I think the Patriots are just outside of that. The Steelers are right there at 4. They're playing well. They just took down the Indianapolis Colts this week. The Bills, they're 6-2. They look good. The Chargers look good. The Jaguars look good. Those are your top 7 teams in the AFC as we stand right now. If the Kansas City Chiefs went 12-6, I see them, or excuse me, I guess it'd be 12-7. Is that point? Or 11-7 is what it's going to be? 11-7? Yeah, it'd be 11-7. You would then have a very slight chance to make it. And I think that's where you look at last year's standings. Say, what was making the playoffs? It was 10-7. So if you go 11-6, you make the playoffs. In theory, right? In theory. But this year, there's a lot of good teams. But we have to go through all these schedules. We'd have to look at all these teams and say, who are they playing? How are those teams going to go? The losses, I mean, there's going to be losses up here. So, I mean, going back to the schedule, I think if you can win, if you can go, yeah, if you can win against Denver in Mile High, you're 1-0. You lose against Indianapolis, you're 1-1. You beat Dallas, you're 2-1. You beat Houston, you're 3-1. You beat Los Angeles, you're 4-1. You beat Tennessee, you're 5-1. You lose to Denver, you become 5-2, and you lose to Las Vegas, you're 6-2. So if you can go 6-2, you're in a good spot. You're 11-6, you feel good. The problem arises is, what if you lose to Denver both times? What if you lose to Los Angeles like you did earlier in the season? Then you're starting to get into uncomfortable territory. So I'm chalking up Tennessee, Houston, and Las Vegas as a win. I think Dallas should be a win, but it's always a crazy game on Thanksgiving. And for Denver on Christmas, that game scares me more than the game upcoming in Mile High. If you lose to Denver this upcoming after the bye week and become a team that is sitting at 5-5, you already have 3 more losses than last season's regular season team. And you have played in 11 weeks and only 10 football games. And you look back to the trade deadline today and you say, man, if let's say we lose that Denver game by 1 touchdown, man, if we had Bradley Chubb, man, if we had just gotten Breece Hall, that could have changed the outlook. And that's the scary part of this. And Brett Veach is a very good GM. I don't want to say that he is a bad GM, but today he was a frustrating GM because you have this team that you know is so close to being the Chiefs that we know, to being this team that is going to turn it on and going to figure it out. And that's what I thought they were going to do against Buffalo, and they almost did. But ultimately, you lost, and you had not had a leading rusher with more than 60 yards in any game. And in the 2 games that you've had leading rushers any more than 70 yards, in the 2 games that you've had 60-yard rushers, guess who they were? It wasn't Isaiah Pacheco. It wasn't Kareem Hunt. It wasn't Brashard Smith. It was Mahomes. 60 yards against the Jaguars, 66 yards against Philadelphia. In fact, Xavier Worthy has a game where he was the leading rusher. Isaiah Pacheco leads the rushing game in week 6, 7, 8. Hunt led it last week. I know there's injuries. I know there's other stuff that goes around that, but how can one round, a 4th to a 3rd round pick, stop you from getting Breece Hall? How can one round stop you? And just to prove a point here, pull it up. The Chiefs have a third-round pick this season. They could have given it up. The Chiefs have a third-round pick in 2027. They could have given it up. You have the picks. You have the top 3 picks. Why are you not taking that risk? It's Breece Hall, for goodness sake. This isn't Jalen Wright or Jerome Ford for a third-round pick. You are getting Breece Hall. And I understand. He would be, in theory, a rental, right? That's what the expectation of him is. And that's what you're going to get. Because he is a free agent after this season. But what if he comes in here? What if he came in here and lit the world up? And you said, man, that'd be a good thing to have. And you offer him a contract. I don't know what the money would look like. Obviously, he spent a ton of money, so I don't think it would be that much. But maybe he accepts it. Maybe he likes winning. And you win this season. Right now, I'm frustrated. Right now, it sucks. Right now, it's this and that and all get out. But that can all change. It can all change very quickly. You go out after this bye week. You take down the Denver Broncos. Everybody becomes quiet. Everybody becomes a lot quieter. And you forget all about this trade deadline in some aspects. You go and you win. No one in 5 years, 2 years, 1 year will remember that you did not make a trade or you almost had Breece Hall unless it affects you, which it could very easily affect you. We're talking 3 weeks down the line, our running game continues to be very, very bad, and you think, man, what would Breece Hall do? That's where it gets to become a problem. That's where you look back in today and say, man, Brett Veach, you make that trade, we're in a very different position. I mean, again, do I think this is a playoff caliber team? Yes, 100%. I'm not saying that at all, but there is a chance where they don't make the playoffs. And if they do not make the playoffs and you look back to this trade deadline, that is going to be a huge reason why. Because this team is right there. You have Patrick Mahomes, a great wide receiver core, Travis Kelce. The defense looks good. But you keep losing these small one-score games. 3-point loss to Jacksonville. 3-point loss to Philadelphia. 6-point loss to Los Angeles. 7-point loss to Buffalo. And you've got a tough schedule coming up. And it just feels different this year in the past. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated is I've watched the Chiefs for a long time. I've been watching them for 9 years now, basically, if not more. And I've seen a lot of Patrick Mahomes. I've seen a lot of Travis Kelce. I've seen a lot of the Chiefs team. And every single year, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're making the playoffs. Since that loss to Brady in the AFC Championship, I'm like, yes, this team is good. We might not look that way around. 2023 is a perfect example. You lose the first game of the year to the Lions, and nobody fretted. Talked about the wide receiver core that entire year. Marquez Valdez-Scantling continued to drop balls, but you were able to get on it. And now you sit here and you think, man, well, what they can do? What can they do? I don't know what they can do. I don't know. Because the team looks good, but it's just not performing. And you keep losing these one-score games, they're going to add up. 5-4, you got a bye week. You lose next after the bye week, you turn to 5-5. More questions start to arise. You come up, you beat the Denver Broncos, especially in a team like that. Questions go away. Statements go away. Playoffs are very, very not even a question at that point. They're really slightly even a question right now. But if you win, that really puts them into a way. But if you lose, then they become a huge question. So this next game, when you're 5-4, each game is bigger than the last. And so 225 CBS, November 16th, the Chiefs playoff lives, their seasoned, their media outlook is on the line, and curious to see what happens. So we got for you here today on the show. Tomorrow we'll kind of talk injury report, what's going on with Josh Simmons, and the latest on the bye week talk and what's going on with that. See if we can have any updates on Isaiah Pacheco. Make sure everybody's feeling good and good to go into that bye week. So I appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report, everybody. Peace out.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.